This is a response to Phantasm 2000's reposting of The Atheist's Nightmare by Ravi Zacharias. First of all, I wanted to give a thanks to Socrates1, who has been not only supportive of my work, but also has contributed some excellent clips to YouTube. You should definitely check them out. First of all, I wanted to observe how messed up the video response system is here on YouTube, in that you have to get the approval of whoever it is that you're trying to respond to. Now, I have set all my videos to automatically post video responses, so you don't have to worry about me approving them or not. However, most people don't choose to do that, and I can only assume that Phantasm 2000 is one of those people, and thus this probably won't show up as a post. Just a quick word to Phantasm 2000, based on the nature of your earlier posts. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you didn't allow this as a video response. However, I strongly encourage you to allow this, as it would encourage a more open dialogue here on YouTube. And also, if you don't allow it, I can only assume that I'm saying something on here that you don't want people to hear. Let's take a look at some of the Atheist's Nightmare clips, shall we?
So this is not only the century of atheism in a sense, it's also the century of extermination, because it logically flowed from a godless worldview where we dehumanized people in the process.
Now, this is a vague statement which doesn't accuse atheists of anything specific, but somehow links them to all the carnage of the 20th century. Now, I'm not going to get into all the history of the 20th century and the intricate details, but let me just point out that Hitler was a Catholic, and he also had the tacit support of the Roman Catholic Church in his execution of the Holocaust. Now, on to the next point.
Take even a simple illustration of human existence. If I were to walk onto a planet, Jim, and see pebbles arranged in a pyramid, I may conclude that the atmospheric conditions have brought this aesthetic design about and be satisfied. But if I were to walk onto the same planet and see a McDonald's Big Mac wrapper sitting on the surface there, saying with extra cheese and 99% fat-free and whatever, somehow you will not conclude that the atmospheric conditions have brought this about. There's intelligibility.
So there had to be an intelligent designer behind the burger wrapper, right? Well, at the risk of stating the obvious, let me say this. We are not burger wrappers! Burger wrappers aren't life forms. Burger wrappers don't have genetic code. We, on the other hand, are life forms. We have genetic code. It's been well documented, do have the capability to evolve. I mean, you could literally fill libraries with works that support evolution. And you do make the case that evolution is improbable, but just because it's improbable doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
I have discovered, as I'm sure you have, that in America and other parts of Western civilization, a lot of people will claim to be atheists. They will claim to be good people. They have hijacked some of the Christian ethical principles of their youth, and they're still riding on the golden rule or love your neighbor or something of that sort.
That is correct. And of course, on the hard-nosed issues of life, they are still not able to arrive at. How, for example, do you arrive at a moral definition of what is right sexually? Take a simplistic answer, like so long as two adults don't hurt anybody or you don't kill anyone in the process, is just a single-phase strand of reality.
So atheists' approach to sex is bad because they don't appreciate the complexity of the issue. Now, who was it that wanted to put abstinence-only sex education in schools? I don't know. Anyway, he goes on to talk about the golden rule and how atheists just stole that from the Christians and blah blah blah. Well, I did a little web sleuthing and I found this. The Tale of the Eloquent Peasant, 1970 BCE. This is an ordinance. Act to the man who acts to cause him to act. So in other words, do unto others as they should do unto you. Sounds familiar. And it was how many years before Christianity? 1970. Anyway, next point.
however you section physical reality, you take the physical universe as you see it, however you slice it down to its minutest form, the fact of the matter is you end up with a physical entity or quantity that does not have the reason for its existence in itself. Ultimately, the physical universe reduced in any form cannot explain its own origin. It has to find its explanation outside of itself, which means the first explanation of a universe as we see it has to have something that is non-physical as a first cause.
Ah, yes, the good old first cause argument. Well, I reject this argument because, I mean, if God was the first cause, then who created God? I mean, how could God just spontaneously exist? You don't give any reason why God should just spring into being, and why shouldn't he be subject to the same laws that the second cause is subject to? I mean, why isn't there a cause for God coming into existence? Moving on.
What does it take to find meaning in life? That's what it boils down to. And I give 4 components that meaning must have. When you've got wonder, truth, love, and security, then you have found meaning.
So he says that in order for there to be meaning, you have to have this laundry list of criteria, like, what, wonder, truth, love, security. Now, why do we need a God for any of these? I mean, wonder doesn't have to be God. I mean, it can be anything in nature. It can be like a rainforest and an ocean. It can be fluffy bunnies floating through the clouds. You get the picture. Truth, he's using to mean God, basically, but truth can also be logic or your own logical conception of the universe. It doesn't have to be this big, important God thing. Let's see. Love, well, you don't need God to love people. And security, well, I mean, this is basically just code for if you don't believe in God, you go into hell. So, you know, I'd actually argue that the non-belief in the afterlife requires a greater amount of love during this life. I mean, if you're willingly engaging in something that's temporary, you would naturally give it more love than you would if you were just thinking, oh, well, I got eternity in heaven, so I don't really have to use up that much love in this lifetime.
Anything else without finding an article by Stephen Jay Gould. He said that our lives have no more meaning than a dried twig that you would pick up off the grass in your background. I have at other times talked to evolutionists, and they try to pretend that they have some kind of meaning.
So life is meaningless without God, huh? Well, first of all, even if there is a God, why would that somehow give meaning to your life? Just because you're subservient to this giant God, does that mean that your life somehow has meaning? I mean, does slavery entail meaning? I don't think so. Second of all, even if there is no God, how does that mean that there's no meaning to your life? I mean, you could get meaning out of your friends, your family, your passions. I mean, painting pictures of cheese, or playing football, or watching crappy videos on YouTube. That could be what gives your life meaning. Just think about it. But enough of that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been informative. Please feel free to respond, even if it's just with a simple, "fuck you, asshole." Have a nice night.